Dear Arizona voter, the Arizona primary election is on July 30th, 2024. This guide is created by Clean Elections, the state's nonpartisan voter education agency, to provide voters official voting information about the primary election. The purpose of a primary election is to nominate partisan candidates to advance to the general election. All registered voters can participate, yet primary elections typically have turnout rates in the 30%. Voting is a critical form of involvement in the political process. Please read through this guide for more information on the primary so you can have your voice heard in the election. In this guide, you will find information on how to register to vote, ways to vote by mail or in person, accepted ID at the polls, county elections contact information, list of candidates. With so many sources of information available, it can be difficult and frustrating to find official, nonpartisan election information. Our goal is to educate and inform, not influence. And we hope this voter education guide helps you cast your ballot confidently. Thank you for voting. Respectfully yours, Mark S. Kimball, Christina E. Werther, Amy B. Chan, Galen D. Patton, Steve M. Titla, Arizona Citizens Clean Elections Commission. Why am I receiving this? Your household is receiving this voter education guide because you or another resident is registered to vote. Voter guides are sent by the legislative district assigned to your residence. It may be possible for your household to receive multiple guides for different legislative districts if there is a voter registered at a different residential address that uses the same mailing address as you. Why should I read this voter education guide? This guide contains statements directly from the candidates for statewide and legislative office. This is an opportunity for voters to hear directly from candidates, not third parties, about their views. This guide also contains official and accurate information on how to register to vote, ways to vote, accepted ID at the polls, county elections contact information. Who sent this? This guide is created by the Arizona Citizens Clean Election Commission. Clean Elections. Clean Elections is a state government agency created by voters in 1998. Voters mandated Clean Elections create this voter education guide and mail it to households prior to the primary election. What is Clean Elections? Clean Elections is the state's nonpartisan voter education agency founded in 1998 after Arizona voters passed the Citizens Clean Elections Act, ARS, Title 16, Chapter 6, Article 2, to root out corruption and promote confidence and participation in our political process. Number 1, voter education. We provide voters with nonpartisan election information tools and resources so they can vote informed. Number 2, clean campaign funding. We provide campaign funding to candidates who run for state offices in Arizona who agree not to accept special interest money. Number 3, enforcement. We conduct audits of candidates' campaign finance reports and investigate complaints to ensure funding is used appropriately. How is Clean Elections funded? The Citizens Clean Elections Fund, created by voters, receives revenues from a 10% surcharge imposed on all civil and criminal fines and penalties, qualifying contributions from registered Arizona voters to participating candidates, and civil penalties assessed against violators. Funding for clean elections does not come from taxpayer money from the state general fund. Who are the commissioners? The commission consists of 5 members, no more than 2 of the same political party, and of the same county. The governor and the highest-ranking official holding a statewide office, who is not a member of the same political party as the governor, alternate in appointing commissioners. What is in this guide? Primary election information. About the primary election. Important election dates. Voter registration. How to vote. Voter assistance. ID at the polls. Contact information. Offices to be elected. Statewide candidates. Legislative candidates. About the primary election. What is the primary election? The July 30th primary election determines the candidates from each political party who will advance to the general election in November. Who can vote in a primary election? All voters, including those not affiliated with a recognized political party, independents, can vote in the primary election. Why is voting in the primary election important? Voting in a primary election is important because it allows voters to determine who the nominees will be from each political party. Candidates who win the primary election in their party will be listed on the general election ballot, along with the other party nominees and candidates that are running independent of a party. Sometimes, a particular contest may only have candidates from a single party. This means the winner of that office is determined in the primary election. Voting in a primary election ensures voters have a say in who represents them. Important election dates. Primary election day is July 30th, 2024. Polls open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Voter registration deadline is Monday, July 1st, 2024. Early voting begins Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. Last day to request a ballot by mail, Friday, July 19th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Mail back early ballot, Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Last day to vote early in person, Friday, July 26th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Emergency early voting is Friday, July 26th at 7 p.m. through Monday, July 29th at 5 p.m. Voter registration. Voters must be registered by Monday, July 1st, 2024, to vote in the primary election. Not sure if you're already registered? Check online at www.azcleanelections.gov/am-i-registered-to-vote. Ways to register. Online. Visit www.servicearizona.com. You must have a valid Arizona driver's license or identification card to use this service. You will be emailed a confirmation after you complete the registration process. Paper form. Voter registration forms are available at county recorder offices, Motor Vehicle Division, MVD offices, most libraries, city clerk offices, and public assistance agencies. To download a paper form, or for more information on the registration process, including the qualifications to register to vote, please visit www.azcleanelections.gov/register-to-vote. Voter registration card. Your county recorder will mail you a voter registration card a few weeks after you register. Voters are encouraged to verify that the information on their card is correct. Please contact your county recorder with any questions or to request a replacement registration card. Your registration card may be used as a form of ID at the polls. How do I vote? Vote early by mail. Ballots will go out in the mail on July 3rd to voters that are on the Active Early Voting List, AEVL, have requested a one-time early ballot, independent voters that have requested either a ballot for a party holding a primary open to independents or a local nonpartisan ballot. Voters can mail their voted ballots back, mail by July 23rd, or drop them off at designated ballot drop boxes, if available, any early voting location in their county, the county recorder or elections office, any voting location on election day in their county. You do not have to wait in line. Voted ballots must be received no later than 7 p.m. on July 30th, 2024, Election Day. Vote early in person. Voters may vote early in person at the county elections office or at any early voting site in their county. Early voting will begin on July the 3rd. Voters must bring their ID. Vote on Election Day. All voting locations will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Election Day. Visit https://www.azcleanelections.gov/voter-dashboard to find your voting location. Voters must bring their ID. Ballot types in the primary election. Voter. Which ballot do I get? Ballot type. Democratic Party will get a Democratic Party ballot. Green Party gets a Green Party ballot. Libertarian Party gets a Libertarian Party ballot. Republican Party gets a Republican Party ballot. No Labels Party gets a No Labels Party ballot. See below for important information. Independent voter, or no party affiliation, must select one. Choose one of either Democratic, Republican, or local nonpartisan if available. Note: the No Labels (NOL) party ballot will not have any federal, state, or legislative office candidates listed on it. This is due to a preliminary injunction issued by the U.S. District Court for Arizona, barring NOL candidates from appearing on the Arizona primary election ballot. No Labels Party of Arizona v. Adrian Fontes, CV-23172-PHX-JJT 2024. No Label Party voters who are on the active early voting list will automatically be sent a No Labels Party ballot with no candidates listed, unless they contact their county recorder to determine if a local nonpartisan ballot is available, or they change their political affiliation on their voter registration before the deadline. Independents can vote in the primary. You do not need to register with a party. Step 1. Pick a ballot. Independent voters must choose which ballot type they want to vote. Voters may only vote one ballot. Choose one: Democratic, Republican, or local nonpartisan. Step 2. Decide when to vote. Vote early. Number 1. By mail. If you want your county recorder to mail you a ballot, you must contact them by July 19th to choose a ballot type. Your county will be able to tell you which ballot types are available to you for selection. If you miss this deadline, you can still vote in person, early or on Election Day. Number 2. In person. Visit an in-person early voting location and ask the election worker for the ballot of your choice. Must show ID. Vote on Election Day. Ask your poll worker for the ballot of your choice. Must show ID. Voter assistance. Uniformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act, UOCAVA. The Uniformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act, UOCAVA, ensures that U.S. citizens who are service members, their eligible family members, or overseas citizens can vote in their home states. This guide has been mailed to every Arizona military and overseas voter. Resources for UOCAVA voters. 1. Secretary of State's online system. Used to register to vote, request an early ballot, and return a voted ballot. www.azsos.gov/elections/voting-election/military-and-overseas-voters. 2. Federal Postcard Application, or FPCA. Used to register to vote, request an early ballot, or update your voter information. https://www.fvap.gov/Arizona. 3. Federal Write-In Absentee Ballot, or FWAB. Used as an emergency backup ballot and to register to vote. https://www.fvap.gov/Arizona. Voters with a Disability. The Help America Vote Act, or HAVA, requires every polling place to be accessible and have available and set up for use accessible voting equipment that may be used by any voter. Additional assistance may be available, such as curbside voting, braille and large print ballots. Voters can contact their county elections office for additional information. Alternative formats and language. Voters can contact Clean Elections to request a larger print version of this guide or to request an alternative format. This guide is printed in Spanish to assist local jurisdictions in complying with federal law, Section 203 of the Voting Rights Act, VRA. For more information about federal law, please contact the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, Voting Section, at 800-253-3931, or email voting.section@usdoj.gov. What ID should I bring to the polls? List number 1. A valid Arizona driver's license. Valid Arizona non-operating identification card. Tribal enrollment card or other form of tribal identification. Valid United States federal, state, or local government-issued identification. List number 2. Utility bill of the elector that is dated within 90 days of the date of the election. A utility bill may be for electric, gas, water, solid waste, sewer, telephone, cellular phone, or cable television. bank or credit union statement that is dated within 90 days of the date of the election. Valid Arizona vehicle registration. Indian census card. Property tax statement of the elector's residence. Tribal enrollment card or other form of tribal identification. Arizona vehicle insurance card. Recorder's certificate. Valid United States federal, state, or local government issued identification, including a voter registration card issued by the county recorder. Any mailing to the elector marked official election material. List number 3. U.S. passport without address and one valid item from list number 2. U.S. military identification without address and one valid item from list number 2. Any valid photo identification from List 1 in which the address does not reasonably match the precinct register, accompanied by a non-photo identification from List 2 in which the address does reasonably match the precinct register. Members of federally recognized tribes are not required to have an address or photo on their identification in order to cast a provisional ballot. Contact information. County contact information can be found at azcleanelections.gov or by emailing ccec@azcleanelections.gov. Candidate information. Which candidates are in the guide? Every statewide candidate and legislative candidate that has their name printed on the primary election ballot is listed in this guide, per the Clean Elections Act. Information on federal and local candidates may be found on the Clean Elections website at www.azcleanelections.gov/Arizona-elections/find-my-candidates. What information is listed about the candidates? The candidate's name, party affiliation, campaign funding type, and website are provided. Campaign funding type is listed as either traditional or participating. A traditional candidate funds their campaign through private donations. A participating candidate funds their campaign through participation in the Clean Elections Clean Funding Program. Each candidate had the opportunity to submit a 100-word biography and 200-word statement. The statements were reproduced as submitted and were not edited for spelling, grammar, or punctuation. Non-substantive editing may have occurred for layout purposes only. These statements represent the opinions of the authors and have not been checked for accuracy. Definition of offices to be elected. Corporation Commissioner. Vote for not more than 3, 4-year term. The Arizona Corporation Commission has 5 members, each elected to 4-year terms. The Commission regulates the rates, business practices, health and safety of many utilities. It also regulates corporations, securities, railroads, and pipelines. State Senator. Vote for not more than 1, 2-year term. The Arizona State Senate is the upper house of the legislature, made up of 30 senators, 1 from each of Arizona's 30 legislative districts. The Senate can draft, introduce, and vote on legislation. Along with the House, the Senate approves the state's annual budget. The Senate can place measures on the ballot for voter approval. State House of Representatives. Vote for not more than 2, a 2-year term. The Arizona State House of Representatives is the lower house of the legislature, made up of 60 representatives, 2 from each of Arizona's 30 legislative districts. The House can draft, introduce, and vote on legislation. Along with the Senate, the House approves the state's annual budget. The House can place measures on the ballot for voter approval. For more information on office responsibilities, including federal and local offices, please visit www.azcleanelections.gov/civics.